Let's talk about a huge topic today, destiny. You ever wonder if your life's path is already written or if you're actually the one holding the pen? Well, we're going to dive into that by connecting some really profound ancient philosophy with some pretty cutting-edge neuroscience. The goal? To give you a totally new way of thinking about your future and, more importantly, how you can start shaping it right now. Our journey starts with something pretty blunt, almost shocking. It's a diagnosis of the human condition that comes from the ancient Kṣitigarbha Sutra. And yeah, it's a statement that'll probably make you sit up and pay attention. Whoa, okay, hold on. Before you start feeling all guilty, this isn't about sin in the way we usually think of it. It's not a moral judgment at all. The source text is trying to give us a deep insight into how our minds work. It's pointing out this fundamental human tendency for our thoughts to just drift, to gain a kind of negative momentum, almost like a river that naturally flows downhill. Sound familiar? You know, you make a New Year's resolution, you've got all this good intention, and it just kind of fades after a few weeks. But a bad habit, like mindlessly scrolling on your phone, that seems to get stronger all by itself. The source actually has a term for this, nanya zhengyi. It means that with every single repetition, the negative inertia just builds and builds. Good habits take so much effort, right? But bad habits, they seem to grow on their own. So if our brains are kind of naturally wired for these negative loops, that leads to a pretty terrifying question, doesn't it? Is our fate already sealed? Are we just sitting in the passenger seat of a car that's programmed to crash? The answer from this tradition is a very firm no. The whole idea that your life is just a script that was written in the past, a concept called fatalism, is seen as completely wrong. And why? Well, think about it. If everything was already decided, then any effort you make to change, to get better, to become enlightened, it would all be totally pointless. Okay, so if it's not some fixed fate, then what in the world is karma? Let's try to reframe this completely. Think of it less like some cosmic judge keeping score and more like a law of physics, like momentum and inertia, but for your mind. This slide really lays out the difference perfectly. On one hand, fatalism says you're just an actor reading lines from a script someone else wrote a long, long time ago. But the Buddhist view? It puts you at the ship's wheel. It says, look, the currents of the past got you here, for sure. But right now, in this moment, you're the one setting the course for where you're going next. To make this even clearer, we can break it down into two ideas. First, you've got myung. The easiest way to think about this is like the hand of cards you were dealt at birth. It's your genetics, your natural temperament, the situation you were born into. This is the result of everything that came before. And yeah, you can't really change it. It's your starting point. And then you have un. And this is the real game changer. If myung is the hand of cards you were dealt, un is how you choose to play that hand. It's the active, dynamic, flowing part of your life. It's the direction you are steering your ship right here, right now. Myung is what the past created. Un is what you create in the present. Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this work in the real world? If un is the direction we can actually control, what are the tools we use to grab the wheel and start steering? Buddhism offers this really practical three-step toolkit. First up, precepts. Basically, stop adding a fuel to the fire. You consciously decide to stop planting those negative seeds. Second, concentration. This is about training your mind. It's like building the mental muscle you need to hold the ship's wheel steady, even when a storm hits. And third, wisdom. This is about understanding the game you're playing, seeing with total clarity how your actions create your reality. This isn't a passive process. It's a very active one. Now here is where things get absolutely fascinating. Thousands of years after these ideas were first talked about, modern science is actually starting to map the physical reality of this entire process inside our own heads. And that reality has a name: neuroplasticity. It's this incredible discovery that our brains are not fixed, static things. They are constantly, physically rewiring themselves based on what we think, what we feel, and what we do every single day. So here's the absolute kicker. The ancient idea of karmic inertia, of habits getting stronger every time you repeat them, is a perfect description of how neural pathways in your brain actually work. When you repeat a thought or an action, you physically strengthen the connection between the neurons for that habit. Karma isn't some mystical, invisible force. It is, quite literally, the changing architecture of your brain. And we see the dark side of this everywhere today. I mean, think about smartphone addiction or getting lost in that endless social media scroll. These are perfect modern examples of neuroplasticity working against us. It starts as one small choice, one little hit of pleasure, but every time you repeat it, that circuit gets stronger until the habit feels totally automatic. It robs us of our freedom. The source even calls this a modern-day hell, a prison we literally build for ourselves one thought at a time. But, and this is a really important but, here's the beautiful flip side. If negative habits compound, then so do positive ones. And the effect isn't just 1 + 1 + 1, it's exponential. This is where the real power to change your life is hiding. So what's with this number? 37.7? Well, get ready for this because it's pretty mind-blowing. This is what happens when you get just 1% better at something every single day for 1 year. You don't just end up 365% better. Because of the power of compounding, you end up nearly 38 times better. Tiny, almost unnoticeable daily efforts explode into these massive, transformative results. And really, this is the heart of the whole thing. Your destiny isn't forged in some single, heroic, movie moment decision. No, it's woven thread by tiny thread in the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. The choice to read one page instead of scrolling, the choice to take a deep breath instead of snapping back in anger. These are the moments that are steering your ship. So the past, your myung, it set the stage. It gave you your starting point. You can't change that. But it does not get to write the final scene. Your present direction is decided by the seeds you're planting right now, today. When you take full responsibility for these small choices, you tap into this incredible power to steer your own ship toward a totally new horizon. So the only real question left is, what direction are you going to choose?